What's up, everybody? You are locked live to Believers After Dark. Welcome. Come on in the room. It's me, your girl Iberia, and it's absolutely going down. You are at the right place and at the right time for your kingdom solutions for real world issues. I know some of you are used to hearing me say that when we're talking about Saved and the City, but it is since expanded from Saved in the City to Saved in the City TV, and now the Saved and the City Christian Network. And Believers After Dark is actually just a segment within that network where we can talk about topics that are real, raw, uncut, and absolutely necessary. And so we're going to be dealing with controversial topics with the intention to spark community and cultural dialogue and change. Are y'all ready for some change, or are you ready at least to start the conversation? Well, I hope so. And if you're not, I'm so excited that I have some folks that are ready to start the conversation. I'm definitely not sitting here alone. Again, I'm your host for the evening, but I'm joined by the amazing Princess High and JoLanda Rogers. Mm-hmm. How y'all feeling?
Great.
It's 10 o'clock at night.
It is.
Just felt like I wanted to say it.
Past my bedtime.
But we're here, and we have quite an interesting topic that we're going to be discussing today. It's called Curious Conception. We're not talking about immaculate conception. We're talking about, well, these days it can seem pretty immaculate. So before we jump into the topic at hand, let's kind of go around the table, and why don't you guys introduce yourselves, tell the people a little bit about exactly who you are and what you do, and then we'll jump into the topic at hand. Let's start with Miss JoLanda.
All right. So my name is JoLanda Rogers. I am the founder and owner of Talk Consulting, where our mission is to encourage people to share their respective journeys through healing, hope, and survival. So one thing I'm like, join the conversation. So I'm incredibly excited to be here with Believers After Dark. And I'm hoping you will join the conversation with us.
Yes.
Let's talk.
Absolutely. Let's talk. I love it. And Talk Consulting. And so I'm so excited that she's here, not just as a guest today, but kind of as our resident counselor on hand for us. So you're going to see her for a couple different shows kind of coming up over the next few weeks. We're so appreciative to have Talk Consulting as a sponsor of Believers After Dark. And then my good friend, my sister over here, Princess. Welcome back. A different show.
Yes.
How are you, and what's going on with you these days?
I am well. So I'm Princess. I'm here today as a surrogate, but I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
I'm also a public school teacher. I'm a nanny, a licensed real estate agent.
Come on with it.
A violinist. Yes. I am a musician.
You help people with their credit too.
I do. Credit repair specialist, among many other things. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear a lot more about my surrogacy journey coming up shortly.
Exactly. And we can definitely kind of get into that a little bit later in the show. But we did have Princess on the show, it's been a few months ago now. And she was pregnant then, as a surrogate, carrying the baby for, and we're going to let you say it because I feel like I'm going to say all the wrong things. Just politically wrong is what she is. But we're definitely going to get into that. So again, the topic for today is curious conception. And so the kind of idea is that, making a baby, especially in this day and age, it doesn't have to involve one man and one woman anymore. There's all different kinds of ways that people can conceive. And sometimes as a Christian, you have to kind of check your moral compass. Like, what's right, what's wrong, what are your beliefs, what do you stand by as it pertains to conception? Do you have any specific thoughts on that, JoLanda?
Well, as a mom of 4, and I can honestly say I never intentionally got pregnant with any of them.
What?
But would not trade them at all. I think.
Are you supposed to be on safe single having sex? But that was with the marriage.
That was in
the marriage.
That was with the marriage.
Oh, she was holy unto the Lord. Okay, just wanted to make
we tried.
Yeah.
We tried. It happened. No, but I am very blessed. No grace of my own to have had all of my children within our marriage. So, but I do have friends and I do know people that have conceived in curious ways, including, but not limited to, IVF and just, traditional methods outside of the biblical confines.
So IVF, for those people, I mean, I don't know who doesn't know, but maybe people don't know. What does that stand for?
It is in vitro fertilization, and Princess will probably be way more dope on explaining that than I would. But I'm interested to just kind of get into this dialogue. And my whole heart is, I believe we each have a journey, and the Father has outlined that journey for us, and it all looks different.
No, I'm so with it. Let's kind of jump. I wanted to kind of go, well, you know what? I'll go into this. This is something that I kind of pulled off the internet, and then I want you to jump in, Princess, as a surrogate, and just kind of share your thoughts. So I keep wanting to say mortality, but that is not what I mean. The morality of surrogacy. And so this is what I pulled off the internet, and it says the Bible does not forbid the practice outright, but it does bring up questions of surrogacy itself. Is it moral or is it ethical? And in Psalms 127:3, we see that the children are a gift to couples, and not everyone is blessed with them. God will not always give us exactly what we want. Just as he blesses some people with incredible wealth, he only blesses some of us with the ability to have children. See, I already don't like, okay. I'm reading it. It does not mean that I agree. Could you possibly be going against God's plan for your life by trying to have a child anyway? I think that's a great question on the table. And in addition, marriage is designed to be between two people, and children are born of that union. That's Genesis 1. And it says to bring a third party means a child would have a third parent. I don't know. What do you think? Princess,
I'm looking
That's
at
a lot.
It is. It's loaded. So many pieces that you could dissect. I'm going to say, what you stated first was probably the most, fitting for me. I mean, you said the Bible doesn't forbid it outright.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Boom. And other than that, I'd have to see lot on the rest of it because, I haven't studied that passage. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. It
is what it is. And people are going to choose what they're going to choose. And I mean, do we really have a right to tell people? I mean, I don't know. Do we have a right to tell people, especially if you're leaders in the church, on what they should and shouldn't do? I don't really know a lot. This is all very new to me. And just a sidebar that I'm a 40 child. Ooh,
that's okay.
Oh, Jesus, I felt that.
40 and fine. 40 and fine, remember.
Oh, Lord. But I don't have children, and I want children. And if it came to a point where I get even a little bit more older, I would try. I feel like I would try. I've been considering freezing my eggs. You know what I mean? Like, am I going against God's will? Like, what? I feel like you want to say something. Come on with it.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You're a believer after dark and you're hosting the show. And just to really hear you talk about freezing your eggs.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, Brandy, as a believer.
Yeah.
You see, this is the church phase.
Come on, church phase.
This is
bring
what
it on
do.
in. Yeah.
Are you sure that's what God wants for you?
That's what they say. I know.
And I guess in my mind, the biggest thing that I think, there are 4 areas that you pretty much stay away from with telling people what to do. And that's babies, states, dates, and mates.
Babies? What? Say that again.
Babies, states, dates, and mates. What that means is you don't tell nobody how many babies they should have and or shouldn't have. You don't prophesy babies. Mates, that's your husband. You need to marry him or you need to divorce him or her. States, God is calling you to move to New York.
Ooh.
And baby, states, dates. And try not to do the whole in 2 weeks.
Oh,
I see that check.
Oh,
coming. Those are just some things that kind of protect, us in the body. So from that perspective, then even with this saying, that could you be going against God's plan for you trying to conceive a child anyway? No, I wasn't born by IVF and I wasn't born by surrogate, but I also wasn't born in the confines of a marriage between a man and a woman.
True. Wow, that's so good. So, okay, I want to say this, and then we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be back, and we'll hear a little bit more specifically about Princess's surrogate journey. And then she's also looking for surrogates, too, if you guys want to explore those new options. But, you know, I think you gave me the good church face, like almost to the point where I was like, oh, God. Like, I literally was questioning my life. Like,
That's
do I really want
do.
to? And, oh, my goodness, I kind of felt it. But then I think about different passages in the Bible, not specifically with the children, but if we think about Lazarus, who was all the way dead, was that he was dead, you know, or the little girl, I think she had died in the home, and then they lowered the little girl through the top of the roof. I can't think of the story. Okay, y'all can't.
That was the man.
Oh, the man. I was like, come on, help me.
They lowered him, but the girl did die.
The girl
Jesus
did.
went.
I'm just saying,
it put everybody out the room.
It was a whole lot of things that happened that technically it should be done.
Yeah,
they're in the ground. It's done. It's over. That's not happening for you. But sometimes I truly believe it can be a testing of your faith and how bad do you want it. Again, that's my thought. I don't know where that stands biblically, and maybe that's what we'll dive into even after the show and have like a comeback on another show. But yeah, it's something to think about, right? It's a lot of stuff to think about. And again, before we go to break, I want to say this. If you see what we're kind of holding some stones, there's some stones in our hands, right? And so that's on purpose. It's a reminder, yes, come on, stones, that we all have different opinions. We all have different thoughts and strong beliefs, either right or left. But when it comes down to it, ye without sin cast the first stone, okay? And we all have sinned and come short of the glory. And so as we're going to break, I want you to consider that while because I just feel somebody in my spirit judging. Ooh, you judging. That's all right. You go on with your stone. Hold it tight. And we'll be right back after this.
Hi, my name is Melva Henderson. And since 2006, I've hosted a gathering called Women in Worship, where we've brought women, almost 1,000 women together for the purpose of empowering their lives. But as we've continued to host Women in Worship, there's something that I began to realize, is that there is a gulf that exists between women who serve in the ministry and women who serve in the marketplace. And my desire is to bridge that gap, to see women. It doesn't matter whether they're in the ministry or whether they're in the marketplace. We want to see these women come together. So this year, Women in Worship is called Collage. And our desire and our goal is to empower women, whether you're in the marketplace or in the ministry. Because women in the marketplace need to understand that that is their ministry. You know, it's time for us to begin to add value to one another, whether you're in the ministry or in the marketplace. And through Collage, our desire is to help you accomplish that. I want you to join me May the 24th and 25th at the Helen Zalazzo Center, 2419 East Kenwood Boulevard, right here in Milwaukee. I'm bringing together some of the most powerful women in our city, women that are doing some amazing things in both the marketplace and the ministry. I want you to understand that it doesn't have to be this or that. God has made us so powerful that it can and it will be both. I want to see you there. You can register today at melvahenderson.org. We'll see you at Women in Worship Collage 2019.
We are back. You are locked live to Believers After Dark on Saved and the City TV with your girl, Iberia. And I'm sitting here with the amazing JoLanda Rogers and Princess High. And we're discussing curious conceptions. If you've been kind of following us through the show, how you feeling? You feeling curious? You gonna try some new conceptions? You know, it's all good. We got our stone and we ain't throwing it at you. That's what I know. So, you know, what I wanted to do, because this show is going to go by so fast, is make sure that we have an opportunity to catch up with Princess, who again was on probably a couple months ago on Saved in the City. And we were talking about her surrogacy then, and that's when she was actually pregnant with the baby. And I wanted to do a follow-up with her and just see how things are going. And for those people who don't understand what surrogacy looks like, maybe you can even inform them on that. So let's kind of jump into that.
Sure. So, yes, last time I was here, I was probably 7 months pregnant. Delivered a healthy baby girl December 15th of 2018. So what questions do you have? You're curious about the process. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I did do a round of in vitro, which is some shots and some pills, some suppositories that kind of help your body to mimic a natural cycle. So kind of what it looks like when you do actually naturally conceive.
Okay.
So that just basically is mirroring the process of getting pregnant. And then I went to a clinic, fertility clinic, and they implanted an embryo. So father's sperm, mom's egg.
Oh, already all together.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's probably the biggest thing that I want to clear up for anybody who's interested in surrogacy is that you are not giving of your own genetics. So you don't have to feel like, it's your child. You only share a uterus with this, the baby that you carry. You nurture them and cultivate them in your womb. But then it's ultimately you're giving back what was given to you.
Wow.
You just grow it. So yes, I had the embryo implanted.
Yes.
And then boom, 9 months later, I had a baby.
Well, I mean, and like, so was there any separation anxiety, or because you had a stomach and then you didn't have a stomach and then there was nothing?
There could have been, but I think that it was like really good timing. My favorite cousin, was also pregnant at the same time as I was.
Oh, okay.
And so she had a baby right before I did, and then I also provided breast milk for the family, so that helped a lot.
Okay.
Just having that connection, and they were so supportive emotionally. They checked in with me every day, to make sure I was well, and we discussed, just little different things about baby's growth, and it was like, it was like she was, away, but it was, it was still good. And then I also had my baby cousin that give me that little like, I got, little baby.
Yeah.
Also provided breast milk for him. So I think that part for me was a great extension of my surrogacy that really helped to take away any sort of separation anxiety.
Sure.
And then it also made me realize like, oh, it's a lot of work.
Yes.
Like just pumping every day. And I was like, just imagine if I had a baby also. Like I would have to nurture a baby, heal my lady parts.
Oh, come on,
like like I was like, no, I would have been tired.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how people have 2 kids. Like
right.
And then I still had
one daughter.
I do, and I still had to juggle her and get her to and fro like. And then I was still busy. So like I took my little maternity leave and I was right back to work. So I couldn't imagine even like having, a second child at that point, because that's not what I prepared for. So there was no separation anxiety in that regard, because I was already ready to, snap back and keep it moving. So
and then there's a process? There a psychological process you have to go through in the beginning?
You do.
Right.
You do. You have to have a psychological evaluation. So they check on you and your kind of like your mental capacity to be able to even give away a child or release. I prefer release, rather than give away, because you're not giving away anything. You're releasing the baby back to
I love
the parents.
I love that. Okay.
So yeah, they make sure that you are comfortable and confident that you're going to be able to do this, just to avoid any of that sort of back and forth at the end. There's also a legal process where you sign paperwork stating that you are not the intended parent. You're not intending to raise the parent. It's not genetically related to you. So you go through a lot of channels before you get to the point of delivery, so that they're protected. They are gonna be certain that they're gonna get their child. You're gonna be certain that you're compensated for the labor that you put yourself through. So there's a lot of measures put in place to make sure everything goes smoothly.
And so the other thing that I think is just like, whoa, that some people don't know is that you don't have to be the same race. Well, you got to be of the human race,
that helps.
But you don't have to be the same ethnicity of the baby to carry the child. So she gave birth to a European American baby
who is gorgeous.
She's so darling,
absolutely gorgeous. Goodness. So, do you plan on staying a part of her life?
I do. Her parents text me probably once a month or like once a milestone. Like, so she's on her stomach now, which I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be rolling over and just pulling stuff down very soon. So I'm like, so that's exciting. So I definitely plan to keep in contact with them as they are planning to keep in contact with me. We have a very open relationship. We're very comfortable with each other. During the time that I was caring for them, I almost felt it was like nice. I like made friends. Like they were so sweet to me.
They choose you?
We chose each other. So the agency actually got an idea of our personalities. And then we had an interview, like a face-to-face Skype sort of interview.
Yeah.
And at that point, we were able to say yay or nay, and we both were like, yeah, let's do this. And it was a good fit. So.
Oh, my God. Feelings.
So I have a hard question for
you.
you.
I have all kind of feelings.
Yeah, like it's a lot going on. I already mentioned I'm a mom of 4, right? Nothing about carrying children is easy. So tell me a little bit just about your heart desire to go through that physically as a woman.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like it. Like a lot of the other surrogates are like, oh, pregnancy is easy. Like I don't have hard pregnancies. I know a lot of people who are just like, it's
I guess to each his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love being pregnant. It's like, oh, you got like all this little, ball of energy, like movement.
I just feel like I'm just like, so I can't. I just feel like I would probably be like, that's my baby. Like be running away with this little white chocolate child.
Yeah.
And I just feel like but again, I think it depends on where you are. Like, because I've never had a kid, and that is a strong desire of mine. So ain't nobody taking my baby if it's, oh my God. But like you said, you have to separate.
You definitely do.
Your brain kind of from that. Can I say this? Here goes something else. It's probably off the wall and real stupid. Because the first time I wore human hair, like this is gonna sound like, listen, I felt like it was somebody. I felt like it was somebody else's spirit. I was like, whose hair is this? I was like, whose hair is this? Like, I just started to think, and it was sewed in, so I couldn't get it out. So I keep thinking about like, I know we're saying, oh, it's just the child in it, but is there any type of spiritual connection that goes on there? Not, I guess you're okay. I mean, the baby is not with you, but now I think it'd be beautiful to take on a little princess high spirit. But I mean, if it was something like, who else? Like, who is this person that has carried my child?
Right.
Am I taking something else with the baby?
I hope so. I hope she gets a little bit of me.
Yes.
I keep telling people too. I'm like, this little baby, she is gonna like a little bit of trap music, a little bit of gospel.
Yes.
She might need a black nanny.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Yeah, I think that, there is a connection. I think that's why they kind of choose you, because they kind of, feel your spirit, and they try to feel you out. Is this somebody who I want my child to be with for 9 months? Because they do take a piece of your, babies can hear in the womb.
Absolutely.
That sort of thing. There's so much, scientific stuff that goes on. So
we cannot go deep in 30 minutes.
Wait, but I got a question for you with the whole human hair thing.
Oh, yes.
I got to bring it back.
Bring it back.
So, did you step away from wearing a human hair?
I did for a long
Shut
time.
up.
I was like, I'll just stick with the horsehair and the synthetic.
But then you went back to it.
But then I was all right.
So there was a shift.
There was a
something.
shift.
Okay,
I think I just didn't care after a while. I was like, well, come on with us. Plead the blood over their spirit too. But anyhow, hair has nothing to do with curious conceptions, and we could go so many directions. JoLanda, final thoughts. Kind of in a nutshell. Again, 30 minutes is not enough time to really get into depth on it. Yeah.
No, I love the idea, Brandy, that you have about the stones.
Yeah.
Because see, the reality is when we're talking about curious conceptions, there are so many things that happen in our lives. So say, for example, there's a believer that has an illness, that has cancer and is experiencing chemotherapy that's going to prevent them from having children. And they're married. They want to parent. And so they choose the route of a surrogate going through IVF. Is that something that you judge? How do you know what the father has released them to do? There's just so, many things around it. And if we look biblically, if it's 2 brothers and one of them died, like the wife gets to sleep with the other brother. We don't do that now. But I think if he's moved on your heart to give that gift to another person, then that is ultimately between you and the father.
I'm so here for it. Princess, give us some parting words and tell people how they can connect with you if they are interested in being a surrogate.
Sure. So if you are interested in becoming a surrogate or you know somebody who might be, you can connect with me on Facebook. My name is Princess High. It's spelled the traditional way, PRINCESSHIGH. I'm also on Instagram as princess_Michelle_soloist. My phone number is actually on my flyer. That you'll see circulating on Facebook. I would appreciate if you share that, get the word out. My goal is to reach 100,000 mothers 100,000 people, get the information out to 100,000 people by Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, find me on social media. Would love to connect with you.
I love it. And thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of Believers After Dark, taped right here in the Neo Soul production studio. So shout out to LaShondra Scott. We appreciate her so much for use of this space. Also another sponsor of Believers After Dark. And if you guys have a topic or something that you want to talk about that maybe is not so easy to talk about in your church or even in your community, because yes, maybe some of us are believers after dark, but everybody that sits at this table, I can get it out, Jesus, in the future may not be a believer, but we do have to at some point get to the place where we can have open conversations and begin a dialogue, because really at the core of it, of what we believe, especially as Christians, is love. So how can I love you a little bit more? And that starts with listening. And as we said earlier, having open discussion and joining the conversation. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Make sure you stay connected to us at www.savedandthecity.com. Or if you have, again, any topic, make sure you email us at savedandthecitymke@gmail.com. We love you here at Believers After Dark. And until next week, be encouraged. Bye.